This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All
right, good evening everyone, and welcome to the Board of Public Works meeting for February 15th, 2023. I could get a second to motion to open this evening's meeting.
Second.
Thomas Holzberg,
Yes.
David Bagman,
Yes.
Steve Whitwood.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
All right. We have a fairly standard agenda this evening. We have item number 1, public speak. If anybody would like to speak to an item not on the agenda. All right. And no public speak this evening. Were we expecting any input from the mayor this evening?
No.
All right. We'll move on to item number 3, approval of the February 1st, 2023 meeting minutes, which Steve and I were in attendance for, so we will be the ones voting on this.
Mm-hmm.
Any issue with what Michelle prepared for us?
No.
All right, and I will make a motion to approve the February 1st, 2023 meeting minutes as received.
Second it.
Thomas Holzberg,
Yes.
Steve Whitwood.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Sign this while I'm thinking about it. We had our standing item, hopefully for the last time on our meeting minutes or meeting agenda for this year. Discussion of the water rate setting.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
Nope, Dave can pass them along. Do either members or any public have any input on the topic for a public hearing this evening?
I think I'm fully immersed in it.
Yeah. Same here.
Well, I thank you all for your time and effort, and I know it's been I wanted to give us a long runway on this, and it's been on the agenda for most of the year, but you know, I think we've done what we can to do what we could prepare for the rates and educate the public prior to the hearing.
I could only agree.
Better safe than sorry.
If there's no further input on that, we'll turn it over to our director's report for this evening.
Okay. Union Street, I don't have any updates on the schedule for Union Street. Eversource is doing their gas main relocation work at the Williston end here and working their way up towards Main Street. So they're going to do that, and then once Ludlow construction is ready to get going, which is still late March, early April at this point, they'll start with the water main work at this end and work their way to Main Street also. So it's going to be a disruptive couple of years, I think, on Union Street. Everybody's just got to be ready for it. But I don't have any more concrete scheduled dates other than late March or early April. So
Is that about a 2-year project?
yeah, I think it's going to be 2 years. Yeah.
I do get that.
Yeah, I think they've got in the contracts, I think they've got 3 to do it. But I think the bulk of the work will be done between this construction season and next.
Okay.
Cherry Street, we're waiting for a more concrete schedule date. I do have a meeting with them on Tuesday next week, Monday to today. So I'll probably have a better idea when that schedule is going to get, when they're going to get started again after that meeting. But probably it's about the same late March because this warm weather, as nice as it's been, who knows how long we're going to have it. Could go right back the other way on us. So.
It could.
We did award the Hoyle Street pavement improvement project contract to JL Construction Corporation from West Springfield. We have a pre-construction meeting with them scheduled March 2nd. Hoping to have a better idea of the schedule by our next Board of Public Works meeting, but I think our next meeting is on March 1st. So I may, with that pre-construction on the 2nd, I may not have that information until the next day. But if I hear anything, I'll try to update you guys at the next meeting about when they're going to start. The water department's been out on Hoyle Street a lot, if anyone's noticed, just trying to get water services replaced. There's a number of galvanized services that we want to get out of the road there before we put the new blacktop, before we pave. So
No, they've been making good progress.
Yeah, they really are. I gotta hand it to those guys. They're taking advantage of the weather. Yeah, and it's good to see them picking away again. I think knock on wood, I think we'll get them before JL's ready to get started. So. We have, the department has 15 supplemental budget appropriations that are starting to work through the city council process. I think the first reading for all of them is tonight. Finance committee, it sounds like the finance committee is going to take 8 of them in one meeting. I believe that's going to be on the 22nd. And then the 7 will be at the next finance committee meeting, which I think is on March 8th. So it's funding for water meters, some funding to cover reallocated solar credits, that the money that the city receives for the solar field at Oliver Street, and our participation in the solar array in Deerfield started to come to the city in the form of checks instead of electricity bill credits. So there's some financial money that has to move around. It's not that we're spending more or really doing anything differently other than the funds aren't in the budget. We have to put them in there as they come back.
Yeah, they're not coming directly to the department via the credits.
Exactly. So we'll be moving some money from retained earnings that will then get moved back once this fiscal year closes out from the solar checks that come in. So it's just the process, the financial process, the city's financial process that has to go through. So there's some big numbers on some of those reallocation of to cover some of the solar credits, but it's not money that we're spending over any money that we didn't. It's just not coming in the form of credits anymore. So, also included in those is some contingency funding for some of the issues that keep popping up on Cherry Street. With that project, some construction phase engineering funding for Union Street as that project gets started this summer. Some MVP grant match funding for Emerald Place. Funding for the emergency sewer repair we had to do between Payson Avenue and Union Street that just wrapped up. Some salary funding for our second custodian position we added for this fiscal year. Some building and ground improvements at City Hall and the safety complex. The 2 new trucks I told you guys about last time for the highway department. Disposal of a backlog of street sweepings that we have. Funding for taking care of the vacant school buildings. And finally, a Morton Salt invoice from last winter that Morton didn't send us until November. They did this to a number of cities and towns in Massachusetts, and it's causing some serious accounting headaches across the state, I guess. So it's one bill for $4,000. It's it's over $4,000. It's like $4,700 that we can't pay without it going through the city council because it was from last fiscal year. So
Understood.
it's been an interesting time dealing with Morton, and there's other cities and towns that did this too. They had something changed in their billing process last year. Some bills didn't go out that they thought went out. So we had that right after.
Doesn't sound like good cash flow.
No, it wasn't. It's not. And then we've been going back because we're trying to pay it. We just can't. It has to go. We had to wait for free cash to get certified so that we could ask for the money from free cash to go to last year's. No, it's just a process, and they threatened to stop delivering salt to us. We've worked through it with them, but it's not like we got the bill and didn't pay it.
Yeah, the error was on their end.
Yeah, that's, wow.
So right after our last meeting, we had that pretty severe cold come in the weekend of the 3rd and the 4th. We had some strong wind. The strong wind Friday night, February 3rd, took down a pine tree and an easement at the end of Plaza Avenue that brings power into the park to the Nonotuck well and the Brook Street pump station. So it also took the communication lines down. So we had some staff in through the overnight to get the generators up and running and babysit the generators to make sure that we didn't have any trouble with things freezing in the buildings. We could have supplied the water system without those sources for the duration of that outage, but we were more concerned about how cold it could get in the buildings with no heat. So the guys did a great job. And, all of our backup power worked the way that it was supposed to.
And during that cold weekend, our power went out for about 5 seconds. I'm like, oh no.
I bet it was when this happened. It's probably when this happened.
It was about 5 o'clock, 5:50.
Oh, really? Okay, so maybe not. This was later at night. This was maybe 9:30.
No.
Yeah, but it was. I lost it at my house for a few seconds.
That's what mine was. I was.
Yeah. It was,
Just saying.
It was cold out there. I was out there at 10 o'clock with the power company, just making sure that they understood what was in the woods and how it wasn't really something they could walk away. They ended up leaving it for the night because it just wasn't safe for them to be working in there. But they came right back in the morning. It was amazing how cold it was. So we were back to utility power Saturday afternoon, and then I think it was about Tuesday by the time Verizon was able to restore all the communication lines so that we could get all the automation back. We can run everything without that. So it was Could have been worse. So, luckily, it didn't stay cold very long. We didn't have any trouble in the schools with any pipes or anything. So it was glad it got as warm as it did, as quick as it did after.
Yeah. It was very isolated.
Yep.
Luckily.
Yep. So about all I have for you guys for tonight.
Just a couple of things. On the, when you replace the 2 highway trucks, what happens with the old trucks?
We'll auction them off.
Auction them
That was
off?
part of our
Okay.
my agreement with the mayor that that's some of the oldest parts of the fleet, rather than them getting passed around to another department or.
They're beyond life.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah.
And when we start work on Union Street and Holyoke Street, who do you work with as far as developing a detour plan with?
That
That's
will
gonna
mostly
be-
happen with Mass DOT as the construction managers and us, and in conjunction with us in the planning department. But I think that part of the contract is they're supposed to maintain 2-way traffic at certain hours. Without it in front of me, I don't know exact hours, but they're supposed to maintain 2-way traffic for most of the day. So, some of that it won't be possible at times. I think we'll probably have 1 lane of traffic detoured from down Payson to Park majority of the time, but some of that construction work will just be isolated. Like, I don't think there'll ever be a time where the whole road will be torn up and bumpy, but they'll be working here and the traffic will be moving up there, or they'll be working up there and traffic will be moving down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it will be, it's going to be a disruption, that's for sure, for at least a couple years.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on any topics tonight?
That's it for me.
Then I will make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Second?
Thomas Salisbury,
Yes.
Dave Bagnan,
Yes.
Steve Litwin,
Yes.
all in favor, motion carries.
All right.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.